The divorce papers are still warm in my purse when my boss fires me over email. I'm standing in the courthouse parking lot, February wind cutting through my coat, staring at my phone screen. Subject line: immediate termination, restructuring. The ink on the dissolution certificate isn't even dry. 8 years of marriage gone, 6 years at the firm erased. Both in the same 60-minute window on a Thursday that smells like wet pavement and exhaust. My name is Marlo Bennett, and I'm about to learn what rock bottom feels like when you hit it at terminal velocity. I need you to do something for me real quick. Where are you watching from right now? Seriously, drop your city below in the comments. I want to know I'm not alone in this because on that day, alone is all I felt. The morning started normal. Well, normal for the shell of a marriage where you sleep on opposite sides of a king bed like continents drifting apart. Derek left early, told me he had a deposition. I remember thinking how careful we'd become with words, like every sentence was evidence that might be used against us later. And it was. All of it was. The courthouse is downtown, all marble and fluorescent lighting that makes everyone look half dead. My lawyer, Patricia, is efficient in that way expensive people are when they've done this 1,000 times. She guides me to a bench outside the courtroom. Judge Hernandez moves fast, she says, scrolling her phone. You'll be in and out in 20 minutes. 20 minutes to dissolve 8 years. The math doesn't even work. Derek arrives with his lawyer, a silver-haired man in a suit that probably costs more than my car payment. Derek won't look at me. He's wearing the blue tie I bought him for our 4th anniversary, and I hate that I notice. I hate that some part of me catalogs these details like they still matter. We go in, we stand. The judge asks if we've reviewed the settlement. We both say yes. He asks if we're entering this dissolution freely. We both say yes, though the word catches in my throat like a fishhook. The marriage is hereby dissolved, Judge Hernandez says, and just like that, it's over. No thunder, no earthquake, just the sound of a gavel and the shuffle of papers. In the hallway after, Derek finally speaks. Take care, Marlo. 2 words, that's what I get. 2 words after 8 years of shared meals and inside jokes, and the way he used to wake me up by kissing my shoulder. 2 words, delivered like I'm a client, not the woman who held his hand through his mother's funeral. I want to scream. I want to grab him by that blue tie and demand more explanation, more acknowledgement, more something. But I just nod, because what else is there? I make it to my car before my phone buzzes. The email from Gretchen, my boss, my former boss, is cold efficiency wrapped in HR speak. Due to organizational restructuring, your position has been eliminated effective immediately. Your final paycheck and severance details are attached. Please return all company property by end of business today. I read it twice, 3 times, the word swim. Organizational restructuring. I've been at Whitmore and Associates for 6 years. I built their entire client database from scratch. I stayed late every Wednesday to prep Gretchen's Friday presentations. Last month she told me I was integral to the team. Integral. Eliminated. I try calling, it goes to voicemail. I try calling reception. Tracy answers, her voice tight and apologetic. I'm so sorry, Marlo. Gretchen's in meetings all day. She said to refer you to HR. Tracy, what is happening? A pause, then quiet. They're bringing in Gretchen's niece. I'm not supposed to say anything, but I'm sorry. The line goes dead. I sit in my car in the courthouse parking lot, divorce papers in my purse, termination email on my screen, and I can't move. My hands are shaking so hard I have to grip the steering wheel to make them stop. This isn't real. This is the kind of day that happens to other people, the kind of story you hear at parties and say, God, that's awful, before moving on to the wine. But it's happening to me. I need to move, I need to go somewhere. My apartment, Derek's keeping the house, I moved out 6 weeks ago, is a studio with beige walls and a window that faces a brick building. I can't go there. Not yet. Not when the walls will close in like a fist. I drive. I don't know where I'm going until I'm pulling into the parking lot of Rosie's Diner on 8th Street. It's one of those places that's been here forever. Red vinyl booths, and a jukebox that still plays actual records. Derek hated it, said it smelled like grease and nostalgia, which is exactly why I come here now. The bell above the door chimes when I walk in. It's 2:30 on a Thursday, the dead zone between lunch and dinner. There's a trucker in the corner booth, a teenager doing homework at a table by the window, and an older man at the counter nursing a coffee. The waitress name tag says Dollars, nods at me. Sit anywhere, hun. I take a stool at the counter, 3 down from the older man. The surface is worn smooth, initials carved into the formica by decades of bored customers. I trace one with my finger, J plus M forever. I wonder if they made it. I wonder if forever means something different to everyone. Dollars brings me water without asking. What can I get you? Just coffee, black. She pours it, the steam rising between us. I wrap my hands around the mug, even though it burns. I need to feel something other than this hollow ache spreading through my chest. The rain starts. Not a drizzle, a real February downpour that hammers the windows and turns the street into a river of brake lights and blurred neon. Inside the diner, it's warm. The jukebox is playing something old and bluesy. Someone's cooking onions in the back, and the smell is overwhelming in a way that's almost comforting. I should be crying. That's what you do when your whole life implodes in a single morning, right? You cry, but I'm empty. I'm a building after the fire, just smoke and skeleton. My phone buzzes, a text from my mother. How did it go? Call me when you can. I turn it face down on the counter. Another buzz, Derek's sister Amy. Heard it's final, you doing okay? I silence it completely. The older man 3 stools down shifts. I feel him looking at me and I keep my eyes on my coffee. I don't want sympathy. I don't want conversation. I want to sit here in this diner and be invisible. But he speaks anyway. You look just like my daughter. His voice is soft, gravelly, like he doesn't use it much. She'd sit just like that. I glance at him. He's maybe 70, wearing a flannel shirt and work boots worn soft with age. His face is lined but kind, eyes a faded blue behind wire-rimmed glasses. I'm sorry for your loss, I say automatically, because what else do you say when someone uses the past tense? Oh, she's not gone, he says, a small smile. She's in Portland, marketing executive, too busy to visit an old man, but that's life. He pauses, studying me. But she used to sit just like you're sitting right now, shoulders up by her ears, holding that coffee like it's the only solid thing in the world, always when something bad happened. I feel my throat tighten. Bad day, I manage. I can see that. He's quiet for a moment then. I'm Frank, by the way, Frank Caruso. Marlo. Marlo, that's a good name, strong. He takes a sip of his own coffee. You know what I used to tell my daughter when she'd sit like that? I'd say, Sarah, the world's not ending. It just feels like it. And that feeling, it's data. It means something needed to end so something else could start. I almost laugh, but it comes out bitter. And she bought that. Hell no, she'd tell me to shut up and let her wallow. His smile deepens. But a few days later, she'd always come back and say I was right. Not because the bad thing stopped being bad, but because she started to see what was on the other side of it. There's nothing on the other side of this, I hear myself say. My divorce was finalized this morning. I got fired an hour later. So unless there's a third horseman waiting in the parking lot, I think I've hit the limit. Frank winces. Jesus, that's a hell of a Thursday. Yeah. He's quiet for a long minute, turning his mug in slow circles. Then, can I ask you something? And you can tell me to mind my own business, that's fine. And sure. What did you do, for work I mean? Operations manager, client relations, database management, coordinating between departments. I basically kept the whole place running. The bitterness is sharp on my tongue. Apparently not well enough. Frank nods slowly. And are you good at it? I was the best they had. Then it wasn't about competence, it was about something else. Politics, probably, money, fear. He meets my eyes. But here's what I know, if you're good at making broken systems work, at keeping people organized and projects moving, that's a skill people always need, always. Sure, I'll just walk into my next interview and say, "Hi, I got fired on the same day as my divorce. Please hire me." Or, Frank says carefully, you take a minute to breathe, and then you find the people who need what you're good at and don't care about your bad Thursday. I want to tell him he doesn't understand. That it's not that simple. That the world doesn't work like that for women in their 30s with gaps in their resume, and no references because their boss screwed them over. But then he says something that cracks me open. My daughter sat in this exact diner 7 years ago after she got let go from a job that nearly broke her. She sat right there where you're sitting, and she told me she was done. Finished, that she'd never trust anyone again. He pauses. 3 months later, she started her own consultancy. Now she has 12 employees and clients in 4 states, not because the bad day wasn't bad, but because she decided it was the starting line, not the finish. I don't have startup capital, I don't have connections, I don't have anything. You have skills, Frank says. You have experience. And if you're interested, he reaches into his shirt pocket and pulls out a business card, worn at the edges. I have a problem you might be able to solve. I look at the card, Caruso Property Management, an address on the north side. I own 11 residential buildings, Frank says. Small places mostly, 20 to 30 units each. And my operations manager just retired after 23 years. I've been trying to replace her for 2 months, and everyone I've interviewed either wants to automate everything or doesn't understand that property management is about people, not just buildings. He slides the card toward me. You want to grab dinner tomorrow and talk about it? No interview, just a conversation. Worst case, you get a free meal and some friendly advice. Best case, maybe the starting line. I stare at the card. This doesn't happen. Strangers don't offer you jobs in diners. Life doesn't pivot on 7 words from a man you've never met. But I take the card anyway. Why would you do this? I ask. You don't know me. No, Frank agrees. But I know the look on your face. I've seen it on my daughter. I've seen it in the mirror. He finishes his coffee and stands, putting a $5 bill on the counter. And I know that people who have been knocked flat have a choice: stay down or stand up meaner and smarter. You strike me as the second type. He tips his head toward Dolers, who waves back, and then he's heading for the door. Before he leaves, he turns back. Tomorrow, 6 p.m., there's a place called Bruno's on Maple. Good Italian, quiet, we'll talk. He smiles. Or don't come, and that's fine too. But either way, Marlo, you're bad Thursday. It's just Thursday. Friday's coming whether you're ready or not. The bell chimes as he leaves, and I'm alone again with my coffee and the rain and a business card that feels like a lottery ticket. I sit there for another hour, watching the storm through the window, replaying the conversation, trying to find the trick, the angle, the catch, but all I can hear is Frank's voice. The starting line, not the finish. When I finally leave the diner, it's dark. The rain has softened to a drizzle. I sit in my car and pull up Frank's company on my phone. Caruso Property Management has a basic website, professional but not fancy. Photos of clean, well-maintained buildings. A mission statement about housing with dignity. Reviews from tenants that mention things like responsive maintenance and fair treatment. It's real, he's real. I think about calling Patricia, my lawyer, and asking if this is crazy. I think about calling my mother. I think about all the voices that would tell me to be careful, to not trust strangers, to take time to grieve before making big decisions. Instead, I text Frank's number from the business card. Bruno's, 6 p.m. tomorrow, I'll be there. His response comes 2 minutes later. Good, see you then, Marlo. I drive home to my beige studio apartment, and for the first time all day, I don't feel like I'm falling. That night, I can't sleep. I lie on my secondhand mattress, staring at the ceiling, and memories flood in whether I want them or not. I'm 23. Derek is 25. We're at a mutual friend's backyard wedding, string lights overhead, too much champagne, and he's telling me about his plan to become the youngest partner at his firm. His eyes are bright with ambition, and I love that he knows what he wants, that he moves through the world with confidence. What about you? He asks. What's your dream? I'm working as an admin assistant at a law firm, answering phones and filing documents. I tell him I want to run things someday, make systems work, be the person who keeps all the plates spinning. That's sexy, he says, and he means it. You're going to be incredible. We dance, his hand is warm on my back. When he kisses me at midnight, I think, this is it, this is the person. We get married 18 months later in a small ceremony at his parents' club. I wear my grandmother's pearls. He cries when I walk down the aisle. His vows promise partnership, respect forever. And for a while, it's good, we're good. We move into a starter house with a yard for the dog we'll get someday. We host dinners. We paint the bedroom blue together, arguing cheerfully about the shade. We make plans, kids in 3 years, a bigger house in 5, vacations to places we see in magazines. I remember lying in bed one Sunday morning, Derek's arm around me, sun coming through the curtains, thinking, I made the right choice. This is exactly where I'm supposed to be. But that's not where the story ends, is it? It's just where it begins. Friday morning. I wake up at 6 a.m., disoriented. For a moment, I forget everything, the divorce, the firing, Frank in the diner. Then it crashes back, and the weight settles on my chest like a stone. I shower. I put on the one good blouse I own that doesn't need ironing. I make coffee in the tiny kitchen, standing at the window that faces the brick wall. The sky is gray, low clouds threatening more rain. My phone has 17 messages. I've been ignoring them since yesterday. Now, with nothing else to do, I open them. My mother, honey, please call, I'm worried. Derek's sister, Amy, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but if you need anything, I'm here. 3 texts from my former coworker, Janelle, what happened, call me. 2 from my friend Lisa, are you okay? I heard about the job, I'm so sorry. 1 from Derek, just, I heard about Whitmore, I'm sorry. I delete that one without responding. I spend the morning doing the things you're supposed to do when you're unemployed. I update my resume, I browse job sites, I draft a LinkedIn post about seeking new opportunities that I don't have the courage to publish. Everything feels performative, like I'm playing the role of someone getting her life together when really I'm just treading water. At noon, I eat leftover rice from the fridge. At 2, I consider canceling with Frank. At 4, I take a nap and wake up at 5:15 in a panic. Bruno's is a 20-minute drive. The restaurant is tucked into a brick building on Maple, red awning, soft light spilling onto the sidewalk. I'm 10 minutes early, so I sit in my car and practice breathing. This is not a job interview, I remind myself. It's just a conversation. You can walk away at any point. Except I can't afford to walk away, can I? My severance will cover rent for 2 months, maybe 3 if I'm careful. After that, I'm filing for unemployment and hoping something comes through before I'm completely broke. Inside, Bruno's smells like garlic and wine and fresh bread. It's cozy, small tables with checkered cloths, candles flickering, a mural of the Italian coast on the far wall. Frank is already there, sitting at a corner table, and he stands when he sees me. Marlo, you came. I said I would. People say a lot of things. He gestures to the chair across from him. Sit, please. I sit. A waiter appears, pours water, takes our drink orders. Frank gets a glass of red. I ask for the same, even though I haven't had a drink since the divorce proceedings started. Tonight feels like a night for exceptions. Thanks for coming, Frank says. I know this is unconventional. That's one word for it. He smiles. Fair, look, I want to be straight with you. This isn't charity, I'm not rescuing you. I have a business problem and I think you might be the solution. If we're both lucky, it'll be a fit. If not, no hard feelings. What's the problem? Frank leans back, considering. My last ops manager, Gloria, was with me for 23 years. She knew every tenant by name, every contractor we worked with, every quirk of every building. She retired in December, and I've been drowning ever since. I've interviewed 8 people. Some wanted to streamline everything with software and outsourcing. Some didn't understand that half of property management is just listening to people and solving their problems before they become bigger problems. He pauses. I need someone who can coordinate maintenance crews, handle tenant communication, track budgets, manage vendor relationships, and do it all while treating people like human beings. Gloria was a unicorn. I'm not expecting another Gloria, but I need someone close. And you think I'm that person based on a 5-minute conversation in a diner? No, Frank says bluntly, but I think you might be, which is why we're having dinner. The waiter brings our wine. I take a sip, and it's good, smooth, and warm. Frank orders the chicken marsala. I order pasta because it's the cheapest thing on the menu and old habits die hard. Tell me about Whitmore, Frank says. What did you actually do? So I tell him. I tell him about building the client database from scratch, about coordinating between 3 departments that hated each other, about the time I saved a major account by catching an error no one else noticed. I tell him about the late nights and the weekend calls, and the way I kept Gretchen organized even when she didn't realize she was a mess. And then I tell him about the firing. Her niece, I say, the bitterness creeping back. Gretchen's been complaining for months that her sister's daughter couldn't find a job. Turns out the job she found was mine. Frank shakes his head. That's nepotism at its ugliest. But you know what? Their loss. Gretchen's going to figure out pretty quick that blood relation doesn't equal competence. Doesn't help me pay rent. No, he agrees. But it's information. It tells you that you were dispensable because of politics, not performance. That matters. Our food arrives. We eat and talk about the buildings he owns, about the tenants, about the challenges of maintaining aging properties without displacing people. Frank talks about his daughter in Portland, about how she learned the business from him before striking out on her own. He talks about his wife, Maria, who passed away 4 years ago, and how the business kept him sane when grief would have swallowed him whole. Properties are just buildings, he says, but tenants are people. They're single moms working 2 jobs and retirees on fixed income and kids trying to go to college. When the heat breaks in February, it's not just an inconvenience, it's dangerous. When a pipe bursts, it's not just water damage, it's someone's home. Gloria understood that. I need someone else who understands it too. I think about Gretchen at Whitmore, who saw clients as billable hours and employees as interchangeable parts. I think about how exhausting it was to care about the work when no one else seemed to. I understand it, I say quietly. Frank studies me over his wine glass. I believe you do. We talk logistics. The salary is less than I made at Whitmore, but not by much. Health insurance after 90 days, retirement matching after a year. Office is on site at the largest building, but I'd be driving between properties regularly. Hours can be unpredictable, emergencies happen, but Frank is clear that he values boundaries. Maria used to say I work too much, he says. She was right, I won't do that to someone else. What's the catch, I ask. No catch, but it's hard work. Tenants can be demanding. Contractors flake. Things break at 3 a.m. You'll be on call, and sometimes on call means handling a crisis in your pajamas. If you want a 9 to 5 where you clock out and forget about it, this isn't that job. I've never had a job like that, I say. I don't think I'd know what to do with it. Frank smiles, then maybe we'll get along. By the time we finish dinner, it's after 8. Frank insists on paying, and I don't fight him. When we're standing outside on the sidewalk, he hands me a folder. This is Gloria's last operational manual, he says. Read it this weekend. If you're still interested Monday, call me and we'll do a proper interview, tour the properties, meet the maintenance team, all of it. If you're not interested, keep the folder as reference. Either way, you'll know more about property management than you did yesterday. I take the folder. It's thick, spiral-bound, pages worn soft. Someone's handwriting is all over the margins, notes, corrections, reminders. Thank you, I say, for this, for dinner, for everything. Don't thank me yet. You haven't seen the boiler in Building 6. I laugh and it feels strange, like a muscle I haven't used in weeks. Frank claps me on the shoulder, gentle. Go home, Marlo, read the manual, get some sleep. And remember, Friday's here whether you're ready or not. I drive home with the manual on my passenger seat. Back in my studio, I make tea and curl up on the couch with the folder. Gloria's handwriting is neat, methodical. Every section is color-coded. There are troubleshooting guides for common issues, contact lists for every vendor and contractor, detailed notes on each building's quirks, and each tenant's situation. It's beautiful in its way. Not just a manual, a legacy. 23 years of institutional knowledge, all organized and preserved. I read until 1 a.m., taking notes, asking myself questions. Can I do this? Do I want to do this? And underneath those questions, the bigger one. Do I deserve something good after everything that's fallen apart? I don't have answers yet, but I have Frank's number in my phone and a manual on my coffee table and the first flicker of something that might be hope. I'm 28, Derek is 30. We've been married for 5 years, and somewhere along the way, we stopped being partners and started being roommates who share a mortgage. It happens slowly. He takes a big case that consumes him for 6 months. I get promoted at Whitmore and start working longer hours. We see each other in passing, quick kisses in the morning, tired good nights at the end of the day. We stop having dinners together. We stop having sex. We stop talking about anything that matters. I suggest date nights, weekend trips, couples therapy. Derek says yes to all of it and follows through on none of it. There's always another brief to read, another client dinner, another excuse. One night, I find him asleep on the couch at 11 p.m., laptop open, still in his suit. I close the laptop and cover him with a blanket, and he doesn't even stir. "We're losing each other," I whisper to his sleeping form. He doesn't hear me, or maybe he does and just doesn't care. The final crack comes on our 6th anniversary. I've made a reservation at the restaurant where he proposed. I've bought a new dress. I leave work early and come home to change, and Derek isn't there. I call him. He doesn't answer. I text him. Nothing. At 7 p.m., he walks in, still in his gym clothes, surprised to see me. "What are you doing home?" he asks. "Our anniversary dinner. The reservation's at 7:30. He stares at me like I'm speaking a foreign language. "That's tonight." "It's our anniversary, Derek." "Shit, I'm sorry, I completely forgot. I have drinks with a client at 8, I can't cancel." "You can't cancel drinks with a client, but you can forget our anniversary." "It's not like that, Marlo." "Then what is it like?" He's quiet for a long time, then, "I don't know anymore." And that's it, that's the moment I know. Not because of the forgotten anniversary, but because of the way he says it, flat, emotionless, like he's reading a weather report. I cancel the reservation. I eat leftover Chinese food alone while Derek showers and changes and leaves for his client drinks. When he comes home at midnight, I'm still awake. "We should talk," I say. "I know." But we don't, not that night, not for another 8 months. We limp through holidays and birthdays and all the rituals of a marriage that's already dead. We're polite, we're considerate, we're miserable. When I finally say, "I want a divorce," Derek looks relieved. Saturday morning, I wake up clear-headed for the first time in days. I reread sections of Gloria's manual, highlighting things I want to ask Frank about. I make a list of questions. I research property management best practices. I look up Caruso Property Management's buildings on Google Maps, zooming in on each one, learning the neighborhoods. By noon, I'm restless. I need to move to do something. So I drive to the largest of Frank's buildings, the one where the office is located. It's a modest brick complex on the north side, well-maintained, landscaping, neat even in February. There's a small playground in the courtyard, a few kids playing despite the cold. I don't go in, I just sit in my car and watch. A woman exits carrying laundry. An older man walks a small dog. A teenager on a skateboard practices tricks on the sidewalk. Normal people living normal lives. This could be my job, these could be my people. For the first time since Thursday, I feel something other than dread. I feel possibility. Sunday, I do something I've been avoiding. I call my mother. She answers on the first ring. "Marlo, finally, I've been so worried." "I know, Mom, I'm sorry." "How are you holding up? The divorce, the job, honey, that's too much at once." "I'm okay. Actually, I might be better than okay." I tell her about Frank, about the diner, about dinner at Bruno's, about the job possibility. She's quiet while I talk, and I can hear her processing. "And this man just offered you a job, out of nowhere." "It's not definite, but yeah, basically." "Marlo, that sounds..." I know how it sounds, but I looked him up. His business is legitimate, I'm not being scammed. "I'm sure you're not, I just worry." "I know." Another pause, then, "You sound different, stronger." I don't feel stronger. I feel like I'm held together with duct tape and hope. "That's called resilience, honey. That's called surviving." We talk for another hour. I tell her things I haven't told anyone, how humiliated I felt in the courthouse, how small I felt reading that termination email, how invisible I've been feeling for years. She listens without interrupting, and when I'm done, she says, "Your father left when you were 3. You don't remember, but I do. I sat at our kitchen table with a toddler and a mortgage and no job, and I thought my life was over. But you know what? It wasn't over. It was just different. Harder in some ways, better in others. And I learned that the person I thought I needed to be wasn't the person I actually was. You're learning that now. What if I fail?" "Then you fail and try something else. But Marlo, you've never failed at anything you actually cared about, not once." When we hang up, I'm crying, but it's the good kind, the release, not the despair. Monday morning, 6 a.m. I'm awake before my alarm, nerves and adrenaline tangled in my stomach. I've rehearsed what I'll say to Frank. I've picked out my most professional outfit. I've printed 3 copies of my resume even though he's already seen it. At 8 a.m., I call him. Frank Caruso. Hi, it's Marlo Bennett. I read the manual. And I have about 40 questions and 12 ideas for improvements. He laughs. That's what I wanted to hear. Can you come by this afternoon? 2 p.m., I'll give you the full tour. So I'll be there. Good, bring comfortable shoes. We're doing stairs. The tour takes 3 hours. Frank walks me through all 11 buildings, introducing me to maintenance staff, showing me mechanical rooms and common areas and problem units. He's patient with my questions, detailed in his answers. I take notes on everything, Gloria's manual in one hand, pen in the other. By 5 p.m., we're back in the office at Building 1. It's small but organized, 2 desks, filing cabinets, a wall of keys labeled by unit number. Frank makes coffee in an ancient drip machine that's probably older than I am. So, he says, handing me a mug, what do you think? I think Gloria was a genius and left impossibly big shoes to fill. And true, but I want to try. If you're willing to take a chance on me, I'm willing to take a chance on this. Frank nods slowly, then let's talk details. We spend the next hour hammering out terms. Start date next Monday. Salary, 48,000 with a performance review at 6 months. Hours, generally 8 to 5 but flexible and with emergency availability. Phone stipend included. Mileage reimbursement, yes. One more thing, Frank says. Gloria used to tell me that this job will take as much as you give it. You can work 60 hours a week and burn yourself out, or you can work 45 and set boundaries. I'd rather you do the second thing and stick around than do the first thing and quit after a year. I noted. I mean it, this isn't Whitmore, I'm not Gretchen. You work for me, but more importantly, you work for the people who live in these buildings. They need you rested and clear-headed, not exhausted and resentful. I think about Derek, about how work consumed him until there was nothing left. About how I did the same thing at Whitmore, giving everything until there was nothing left to give. I hear you, I say, and I'll try. That's all I ask. Frank extends his hand. Welcome to Caruso Property Management, Marlo. I shake his hand and something shifts. Not everything, I'm still divorced, still broke, still figuring out who I am without Derek and without Whitmore, but something. Thank you, I say, for the chance, for believing I could do this. Thank me after you've handled your first 3 a.m. plumbing emergency. I laugh, deal. Over the next 4 days, I throw myself into preparation. I meet with Gloria over coffee. She's thrilled someone is taking over who actually read the manual, and she walks me through her system, answering questions, sharing stories about difficult tenants and reliable contractors. I memorize names. I study floor plans. I practice using the maintenance software until I can navigate it in my sleep. I also start the practical work, setting up direct deposit, filling out tax forms, ordering business cards. Small, concrete tasks that make the job feel real. Wednesday night, my phone rings, Derek. I stare at it for 3 rings before answering. Hello. Hayes, how are you? I'm fine, what do you need? I just wanted to check in. Amy said you found a new job already, that's great. Yeah, property management. A pause, I can practically hear him trying to figure out if that's a step up or down from Whitmore. That's different. It is. Another pause longer. Marlo, I know things ended badly, but I want you to know I never wanted to hurt you. Something hot flashes through me, anger, grief, exhaustion all tangled together. You didn't want to hurt me, but you stopped seeing me. You stopped trying. You let us die slowly instead of being honest. That's not fair. Maybe not, but it's true. I take a breath. Derek, I don't want to do this. I don't want to rehash everything. It's done. We're done. I'm moving forward. I just thought. What? That we'd be friends? That I'd forgive you and make you feel better about how it ended? I can't do that right now. Maybe someday, but not now. Silence on the other end, then quiet. Okay, I understand. Goodbye, Derek. I hang up before he can respond. My hands are shaking, but not from fear or sadness, from something else, something that feels like power. I'm 31. It's Thanksgiving, 8 months before the divorce is filed. Derek and I drive to his parents' house in the suburbs, the tension between us so thick it's hard to breathe. His mother, Patricia, answers the door in pearls and a silk blouse. Marlo, Derek, come in, come in. The house smells like turkey and wine and old money. Derek's father, Richard, is in the study watching football. Derek's sister, Amy, and her husband, Tom, are already there with their 2 kids. Everyone hugs, everyone smiles, everything is performative. Dinner is elaborate, china and crystal, and too many forks. Patricia serves course after course, talking about the country club's Christmas gala and Amy's kids' private school and Derek's latest case. And Marlo, Patricia says, turning to me with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes, are you still doing that administrative work? Operations management, I correct, keeping my voice pleasant, at Whitmore and Associates. Oh, right, well, that's nice. She turns back to Derek. Your father was just saying the firm might be looking for junior partners soon. Derek shifts in his seat, uncomfortable. It's too early for that, Mom. Nonsense, you're brilliant, they'd be lucky to have you. The conversation moves on. I'm invisible again, the way I've been invisible at every Bennett family gathering for 6 years. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not from the right background. I'm just Derek's wife, the girl he married when he was too young to know better. After dinner, I help Patricia clear the table. In the kitchen, she leans close. You know, Derek works very hard. He needs a partner who understands the demands of his career. I set down the stack of plates carefully. I do understand. Do you? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're holding him back. He needs someone who can support his ambitions, not distract from them. The words hit like a slap. I support Derek. By working 60 hours a week yourself? By being too tired to attend firm events? By, she stops herself, smooths her skirt. Never mind, I'm just saying marriage requires sacrifice, and sometimes the woman has to be the one who sacrifices. I want to tell her that I've sacrificed everything, that I've rearranged my entire life around Derek's schedule, Derek's career, Derek's needs, that I've made myself small to make him feel big. But I don't. I just finish clearing the table and rejoin everyone in the living room, where Derek is laughing at something his father said. He doesn't notice I've been gone. He doesn't notice that I'm shaking. He doesn't notice anything. On the drive home, I'm silent. You okay? Derek asks. Your mother thinks I'm holding you back. He's quiet for too long, then, she doesn't mean it like that. How does she mean it? She just wants the best for me, for us. And I'm not the best. I didn't say that. But you're not saying I am either. We drive the rest of the way in silence. When we get home, Derek goes straight to his office to catch up on work. I go to bed alone and cry into my pillow so he won't hear. That's the night I start to understand that the marriage is over. Not because of one moment, but because of 1,000 small cuts, 1,000 silences, 1,000 times when Derek chose everything else over me. Monday morning, my first day at Caruso Property Management. I arrive at 7:30, half an hour early. Frank is already there, coffee brewing, paperwork stacked on what will be my desk. Couldn't sleep either, he asks. Too excited or terrified, maybe both. Both is normal. He hands me a key ring. Building 1 master keys. Don't lose them because if you do, Gloria will find you and kill you. She made me promise to tell you that. I laugh, clipping the keys to my belt loop. They're heavy, solid, real. Frank walks me through the morning routine. Check emails, review maintenance requests from the weekend, prioritize based on urgency. There are 7 requests waiting, 2 leaky faucets, 1 broken window, 1 complaint about noise, 1 question about lease renewal, 1 request for a parking spot, and 1 weird smell in the basement. Welcome to property management, Frank says dryly. Never boring. We divide and conquer. Frank handles the lease renewal and parking spot questions. I tackle everything else, calling contractors, scheduling appointments, responding to tenants. The leaky faucets can wait until tomorrow. The broken window is a safety issue. I get someone out there by noon. The noise complaint requires a delicate conversation with the tenant above, who apologizes profusely and promises to put down rugs. The weird smell turns out to be a dead mouse in a wall cavity, unpleasant but solvable. By 2 p.m., I've handled 6 of 7 issues. I'm exhausted and exhilarated. "How you doing?" Frank asks. "I think I'm built for this." He grins. "I think you might be right." The first week passes in a blur. I meet dozens of tenants, memorize dozens more names, learn the quirks of every building's plumbing and heating. I handle my first emergency call, a burst pipe at 3 a.m. in Building 7, and manage to get a plumber there within an hour. The tenant, a single mom with 2 kids, is so grateful she hugs me. "Gloria used to come herself when things broke," she says. "I was worried the new person wouldn't care." "I care," I tell her, and I mean it. By Friday, I'm bone-tired but satisfied. Frank orders pizza for lunch, and we eat in the office, reviewing the week. "You did good," he says, "really good." "Thanks, I feel like I'm drinking from a fire hose, but I'm surviving." That's week 1. Week 2, you'll feel competent. Week 3, you'll wonder why you ever did anything else. I hope he's right. That evening, I treat myself to dinner at Rosie's Diner. Dolores recognizes me. "Hey, coffee girl, you look better." "I feel better." "Good, that man you were talking to last time, Frank, he's a good guy. Comes in every Thursday, leaves a big tip, asks about my grandson. You working for him now?" "I am." She nods approvingly. "Then you landed on your feet, good for you." I sit at the counter, sipping coffee, watching the rain start up again. This time, it doesn't feel like the end of the world. It just feels like weather. 2 weeks into the job, the past catches up with me. I'm at Building 4, inspecting a unit that's about to turn over when my phone rings. Unknown number. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. "Hello." "Marlo, it's Gretchen." My stomach drops. "What do you want?" "I wanted to check in, see how you're doing." "I'm fine. Is there something specific you need?" A pause. "Look, I know you're probably angry about how things ended, but I wanted you to know it wasn't personal. The company made a decision, and I had to follow through." I close my eyes, count to 5. "Gretchen, you fired me the same day my divorce was finalized. You replaced me with your niece. It was absolutely personal." "That's not fair. Rebecca was qualified." "Rebecca has a degree in graphic design and no operations experience. You know it, I know it. Don't insult me by pretending this was merit-based." Silence. Then, "I'm calling because we're having some issues with the database. Rebecca can't figure out the vendor tracking system, and I thought maybe you could." "No." "I'd pay you as a consultant, hourly rate." "No." "Marlo, be reasonable." Something inside me snaps, not violently but cleanly. "I am being reasonable. You fired me, you made it clear I was dispensable, and now you want me to fix your problems? Problems that exist because you chose nepotism over competence?" I take a breath. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to figure it out yourself. You're going to train Rebecca or hire someone else or muddle through, but you're not going to call me again. Do you understand?" "You're making a mistake." "Maybe, but it's my mistake to make. Goodbye, Gretchen." I hang up. My hands are shaking, but I'm smiling. Frank, who's been pretending not to listen from across the empty unit, raises an eyebrow. "Old boss." "Ex-boss, asking me to fix her problems." "And you said." "I said no." He nods, approval clear on his face. "Good, you don't owe her anything." "I know, it just took me a minute to believe it." The call from Gretchen opens a floodgate. Over the next week, I hear from people I haven't talked to in months. Former coworkers asking if I'm looking for work. Derek's mother calling to check in and asking if I need money. Amy texting to say she heard I'm doing that property thing, and isn't that brave? Everyone wants something. Everyone has an opinion. And for the first time in my life, I don't care. I respond politely but firmly. "No, I'm not looking for work. No, I don't need money. Yes, I'm happy with my choices. No, I don't want to grab coffee and catch up. I'm building something new, and I'm not letting anyone tear it down." Month 2 at Caruso, I start to make the job my own. Gloria's systems are excellent, but there's room for improvement. I create a digital dashboard to track maintenance requests in real time. I negotiate better rates with 3 vendors by consolidating orders. I implement a monthly newsletter for tenants with reminders, tips, and community updates. Frank gives me free rein, and I run with it. I spend evenings at my kitchen table, laptop open, redesigning workflows. I meet with each contractor personally, building relationships, learning what they need to serve us better. I organize a tenant appreciation event at Building 1, pizza and games in the courtyard, and 40 people show up. They tell me about their lives, their concerns, their ideas for improving the community. I take notes on everything. I also start building a financial cushion. I pay down my credit card debt. I put money in savings for the first time in 2 years. I buy groceries without checking the price of every item. Small victories, but they add up. 3 months in, Frank gives me a raise. You've earned it, he says. Occupancy is up, maintenance costs are down, and I've had 6 tenants tell me you're the best thing that's happened to these buildings in years. Gloria's the best thing that happened to these buildings. Gloria was, you are, there's room for both. I take the raise, I don't argue. I'm learning to accept good things when they come. 4 months in, Derek's sister Amy texts me, heard you're doing really well. Derek's been asking about you. I don't respond immediately. I let it sit for a day, then reply, I am doing well, I hope Derek is too, but I'm not interested in reconnecting right now. She writes back, he misses you. I stare at those 3 words for a long time, then I type, he had 8 years to show me that, I'm not waiting anymore. Send. It feels like closing a door. Not slamming it, just closing it gently and walking away. 5 months in, my mother visits. She drives up on a Saturday and I take her on a tour of the properties. She meets Frank, who charms her immediately. She meets tenants who tell her I'm a miracle worker and so much better than Gretchen ever was. They mean Gloria, but I don't correct them. Over lunch, she holds my hand across the table. You're happy, she says, really happy. I am. I'm proud of you, not for the job, though the job is great, but for choosing yourself, for walking away from people who didn't value you, for building something new. I tear up, I didn't think I could. I know, but you did, and you'll keep doing it because that's who you are. 6 months in, Frank sits me down for my performance review. I'm not going to drag this out, he says. You're exceeding every expectation. The buildings are running better than they have in 2 years. Tenant retention is up. You've saved us thousands in contractor fees, and every single person on our team respects you. He slides a paper across the desk. So here's your new salary, effective immediately, plus full benefits including a 401k match, plus 1 week of additional vacation, plus a performance bonus if we hit certain occupancy targets. I look at the number. It's more than I made at Whitmore. Frank, this is what you're worth, take it. I take it, my hands are shaking, not from fear or anxiety, but from the surreal relief of being valued. Thank you, I whisper. Thank yourself, you did the work. That night, I celebrate alone in my studio apartment. I order good takeout. I open a bottle of wine. I call my mother and tell her about the raise, and she screams with joy so loud I have to hold the phone away from my ear. I think about the woman I was 6 months ago, sitting in that diner, hollow and broken. I think about Frank's 7 words, you look just like my daughter. Such a simple sentence, but it cracked something open. It made me visible when I felt erased. It gave me a starting line when I thought I'd reached the finish. I'm not fixed, I'm not healed. I still have bad days where I miss Derek or mourn the life I thought I'd have. But I'm building something real, something mine. And that's enough. 7 months in, the confrontation I've been dreading finally arrives. I'm at Building 3, overseeing a kitchen renovation, when a familiar car pulls into the parking lot. Derek's black Audi. He gets out, spots me, walks over. Marlo's, hey. Derek, I keep my voice neutral. What are you doing here? Amy gave me the address. I wanted to see you, talk to you. We don't have anything to talk about. I think we do. He looks around at the building, the workers carrying supplies, the professional way I'm dressed. You're doing well, I'm glad. Thanks, was that all? No, he shifts his weight, uncomfortable. I made a mistake, letting you go. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I think we gave up too fast. I think we could try again. Do counseling, make it work. For a moment, I can't speak. Then, you want to try again. Yes, I miss you, I miss us. I study his face, the face I loved for 8 years, the face I woke up next to, the face that stopped seeing me long before we signed the papers. Derek, do you know what I do for a living now? He blinks, confused by the question. Property management, right? Do you know which properties? These buildings, I assume. 11 buildings, 374 units. I manage operations, maintenance, tenant relations, budgets, vendor contracts, and emergency responses. I have a team of 6 people. I make decisions every day that affect hundreds of lives. And I'm good at it, really good at it. That's great, I don't see what. You didn't ask, when you pulled up, you didn't ask what I do or how I'm doing or what my life looks like now. You just assumed you could walk back in and pick up where we left off. I take a breath. Derek, I don't miss you. I don't miss us. I miss the idea of us, the people we were supposed to be. But those people don't exist anymore. Maybe they never did. Marlo. I'm not angry. I'm just done. I've built a life without you, and it's a good life. I don't want to go backward. He's quiet for a long time. Then slowly, you're different. I'm not different. I'm just not trying to be what you needed me to be anymore. I'm being what I need me to be. And that doesn't include me. No, it doesn't. He nods, defeated. Okay, I understand. I hope you find what you're looking for, Derek. I really do, but you won't find it with me. He leaves. I watch his car pull out of the parking lot and disappear around the corner, and I feel nothing. No grief, no relief, just closure. Frank walks out of the building, takes one look at my face. You okay? Yeah, I really am. 8 months in, something unexpected happens. Derek's mother calls. Marlo, it's Patricia. I almost hang up. What do you want? I wanted to apologize. I sit down on the office couch, stunned. Apologize. For how I treated you, for the things I said. Derek told me about your conversation and, well, it made me think about how I behaved during your marriage, about the assumptions I made. She pauses. You were good for Derek, better than he deserved, probably, and I didn't see it, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say, thank you for calling. I also wanted to tell you that Derek's struggling. He's been making mistakes at work, distracted. I think losing you hurt him more than he realized it would. Patricia, I can't help him. I know, I'm not asking you to. I just thought you should know that you mattered, more than we showed you. We talk for a few more minutes, and when we hang up, I feel something shift. Not forgiveness exactly, but maybe the beginning of it. 10 months in, I'm sitting in the diner again. It's become a ritual. Every Thursday after work, I come here for coffee and pie. Dollars knows my order. The trucker in the corner booth nods when I walk in. It's familiar, comfortable. Frank slides onto the stool next to me. Thought I'd find you here. It's Thursday. It is, he orders his own coffee. I wanted to run something by you. Okay. I'm thinking about expanding, buying 2 more properties on the east side, which means more units, more tenants, more complexity. He looks at me. I want you to be operations director, not just manager, director. You'd oversee everything, hire a couple of assistant managers to handle day-to-day, focus on strategy and growth. My heart races. Frank, that's a promotion with another significant raise, and equity in the company, a stake in what we're building. He smiles. You've earned it, Marlo, I trust you. More importantly, the tenants trust you. You've turned this job into something more than I imagined it could be. I don't know what to say. Say yes, or say you need time to think about it, but don't say no. I look around the diner, at Dollars refilling mugs, at the neon sign flickering in the window, at the rain starting to fall outside. I think about the woman who sat here 10 months ago, broken and lost. I think about Frank's 7 words that changed everything. Yes, I say, absolutely yes. Frank raises his coffee mug, to new beginnings. I clink mine against his, to new beginnings. 1 year after that day in February when my world collapsed, I'm standing in the courtyard of Building 1 at our annual tenant appreciation event. There are 200 people here, tenants, contractors, staff, friends. Frank is at the grill flipping burgers. My two new assistant managers are setting up games for the kids. I'm moving through the crowd, greeting people, making sure everyone feels welcome. A woman approaches me, Mrs. Chen from Building 7, the one with the burst pipe. Marlo, I wanted to tell you something. Of course. When you started, I was worried. Gloria was like family, and I thought no one could replace her. She smiles. But you didn't replace her. You became something different, something we needed. You made these buildings feel like home again. I hug her, blinking back tears. Thank you, that means everything. As the sun sets and the music plays and people laugh and eat and connect, I feel it, peace. Not the absence of pain, but the presence of purpose. Not the erasure of the past, but the building of a future. My phone buzzes, a text from my mother. Proud of you, sweetheart, always. I text back, love you, Mom. I think about Derek, about Gretchen, about everyone who made me feel small or dispensable or less than. I don't hate them. I don't even think about them much anymore. They're just part of the story, the chapters that had to happen so I could get here. Frank walks over, hands me a burger. Good turnout. The best yet. You did this, you built this community. We built it. He nods, fair enough. We stand together, watching the party, and I realize something. I'm happy. Genuinely, deeply happy. Not because everything is perfect, it's not. Not because I've erased the hard parts, I haven't. But because I chose myself. I chose to stand up after being knocked down. I chose to believe that stranger in a diner who saw me when I felt invisible. 7 words, you look just like my daughter. And then 7 more, the world's not ending, it just feels like it. 14 words that saved my life by reminding me it was worth saving. I take a bite of my burger. I watch the kids on the playground. I feel the warm June breeze. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, doing exactly what I'm meant to do. And for the first time in years, I'm not waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm just living. This is the resolution. Not revenge, not vindication, just dignity and independence and a life I built from the rubble. This is enough, more than enough. This is everything. When rock bottom becomes your foundation, you don't just rebuild, you build something entirely new, something stronger, something yours. The ending isn't when you survive, it's when you realize you're no longer just surviving, you're living.